What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? So ESPN came out with an article a couple days ago, and it is their way too early edition for next year's NBA season's power rankings. So today, we're going to be reacting to it. So obviously, they clarified these are way too early because we don't know what's going to happen in the draft. We don't know what's going to happen in free agency. We don't know who's going to get traded where in this offseason yet. So a lot of this can change in a couple months. I think the NBA wants the season to start around MLK Day, which is around the middle of January, mid to end January. So yeah, there'll be what? We got all of October left, a little bit left in October. We got November, we got December, and then a little bit of January. So we pretty much have like 3 months until the actual season starts, which is pretty soon. So yeah, without further ado, we can get into the reactions and how I feel about this and what I could think can happen. So number one is the Lakers. I think rightfully so. They're the reigning champions, obviously. The only reason they could not be in the running next year is if LeBron actually regresses, which we've been saying that it's a possibility for the last 5 years, which I'm going to come out and say it's probably not going to happen, and he'll still be a top player in the NBA, if not the best player in the NBA, which I think he currently is right now. So yeah, the Lakers number one, I would put them as well as number one. Clippers at two, I'm actually okay with. I think a lot of people would be kind of hesitant to put the Clippers at two, but I think that's fine. They still have a top 4 player in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard. Paul George was bad in the playoffs this year, but he's still an overall good player now. They're going to have big free agency decisions to make because Montrezl Harrell is a free agent. So is Marcus Morris. So they're going to have to decide if they're going to bring one back, if they can bring both back. That would be something. If they're going to make a trade, who knows if they're going to trade Zubats or Shamit. They don't have a lot of draft capital. They do have some young players in Terrence Mann and Mufadu Kabajeli, but will they trade them? I don't know. We'll see. So I think roster-wise, they still have, well, you can see, I guess, Michael Green's a free agent. And, wait, Lou Will? Oh, it's an expiring contract. So, yeah, Lou Will's got a year left. They'll have Reggie Jackson to see if they want to bring him back as, like, a backup point guard spot. So they'll have some big decisions to make. But, yeah, I think that they're going to be top 3 next year. So I'd put them as 2. And speaking of kind of a top team that ended up losing a little early last year, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks, who lost to the Miami Heat in 5 games. Obviously, the big thing with them is if Giannis is going to be on the team next year, and I think he will be. And I think they're going to still be a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to make a big move this offseason. Either it's for trading for Victor Oladipo or for Chris Paul or somebody like that. I think they're going to make a move. I don't think they're going to sit around and just take somebody at 24 and not make a move to really make this team better in what could be Giannis' last year as a Buck. So if this is his last year as a Buck and John Horst knows that, you need to make a win-now decision because you want to bring a championship to Milwaukee, and it might not happen for a long, long time if you don't this year and Giannis leaves. So I think they'll be good again next year, and I'm fine with them at 3. Denver at 4 is interesting. I would maybe consider having Boston in front of Denver. Toronto, I don't know about Toronto, but I would say Boston I would have in front of Denver. I don't think Philly, because Philly has, see, like, it's hard to assess this before free agency and trading and stuff because we don't know if Philly's going to make a move. We don't know if Toronto's going to make a move. So Denver, I'm cool with them at 4. I think I would mainly put them at 5 and then Boston at 4. But there's nothing like that to get super mad about. But I think having Dallas at 5 is a little high. I know they're going to be good next year, and I think Luka Doncic might be my MVP pick. I have thought about that, but I think, I mean, I got my MVP pick, I think, right 2 years ago. I think I said it was going to be Giannis. Or 3 years ago, I said it was going to be Harden. I think I had Giannis and Curry 2 years ago, but this year I was way off. I said it was Joel Embiid. Yeah, so that was wrong. But I think Luka is going to be my MVP pick next year unless something changes in the offseason and I change my mind. Because, I mean, I definitely could. But I think that should be Boston at 5. Even Miami could be better than Dallas next year, 100%. I mean, Miami will have a couple big free agents, but still, I think, I don't know. Like, Dallas, it depends if Kristaps stays healthy. I think they're going to be good next year. I think they'll be a top 4 seed. I think they can take that 4 seed or maybe that 5 seed. The West is going to be good with the LA teams, Denver, Dallas, Golden State, Utah, Houston. It's going to be a good conference once again, and Portland will still be in that running as well. And then you'll have the Pelicans, the Suns. Yeah, it'll be competitive once again, and obviously the Grizzlies. But I think 5 is a little too high. Maybe have them in like the 7, 8, 9 range. But because I think I would have Boston in front of them. Maybe even Philly, Miami, Toronto, like some of the Eastern Conference teams. And then I would maybe even have Golden State in front of them, who they have obviously at 6. And I'm cool with them being at 6 because we're going to have a full, healthy Clay. Can't wait to see that again. Steph, hopefully Draymond isn't going that way and he goes maybe back up this way in his regression trajectory. So we'll see how Wiggins does in that system. Are they going to trade the second overall pick, or are they going to keep it and draft like a James Wiseman or an Anthony Edwards or Denny Avdia or somebody at 2? Or are they going to trade the pick? That'll be interesting to see, and obviously that will, if they make a move or not, that'll adjust them in these power rankings. I think 6 is a good spot for them. I just think I would probably swap Dallas and Boston. Yeah, I think Boston's pretty good. I think they're pretty good. They're going to have the same team. Who knows if they're going to make a splash at the center position. But I think they're a pretty good team. And I think they're probably better than Dallas. Philly at 8, I think a lot of people might be like, whoa, that's too high. But I think that's fine because I think if Ben Simmons was healthy, they could have given Boston a run for their money. What, there was 2 close games in that series in that sweep? Or yeah, I think it was a sweep. Or they won at 5. I forget. It might have been. I think it was a sweep. But yeah, Philly was out of their second best player and one of their more important players. So I think Philly, if they were able to move Al Horford or they're able to trade Josh Richardson for Buddy Hield or something like that, something big like that happens in the offseason, or they trade for Chris Paul, who knows, I think that will put them around the 8th spot. And I think they could definitely be a top 4 seed next year, 100%. If they end up moving Al Horford, which I think they should, and I think they will. Or I don't know if they will move Al Horford, but I think they'll either move Richardson or Al Horford. Somebody like that. So I think they'll have Chris Paul or Buddy Hield on their team by the time of next year. Miami at 9, it does seem disrespectful since they made it to the finals in the bubble, but I just don't know. I think they got there because they were a great team, right? But I don't know if I could say that they would have been in the NBA Finals. I don't know if I could say they would have been in the conference finals if there were fans in stadiums. I think that was huge to their advantage, and I knew we were going to see some crazy stuff this year with no fans, and I think that was big for the Nuggets, and I think that was big for the Heat. And maybe that hurt the Bucks. That hurt the Bucks, and that hurt the Clippers. I think Miami will be good next year. I think they could be a top 5 seed once again. I just don't know if I could see them being better than some of these other teams mentioned. Now, do I think they should be higher than probably Dallas or Philly? Yeah, I think we could say that. But so maybe 9 is a little disrespectful for the reigning Eastern Conference champions, who are going to have Jimmy back, they're going to have Bam back, they're going to have Hero, they're going to have Duncan Robinson. Kendrick Nunn, I believe, will be a free agent. Same with Goran Dragic. So they'll have to make some decisions there. And Derrick Jones Jr. as well. Brooklyn at 10, that seems... Okay, yeah, I'm cool with them around 10 because we don't know what we're going to see. We don't know how KD's going to look. Obviously, Kyrie's going to be back. We don't know if they're going to make a trade for like a Drew Holiday or Bradley Beal or somebody like that, if they're going to move away from LeVert or Allen or Dinwiddie. So I think 10 is a good range for them. I think from like 9 to 13, no, I would say like 8 to 12, one of those like 5 spots I think would be pretty good. Because we don't know what we're going to see. We don't know how Steve Nash is going to do as a head coach. It's a lot of just stuff we don't know. So, yeah, I think 10's a good spot. I'm fine with, like, I could definitely see the Nets winning it all next year, but I think being safe and being cautious, putting them at 10 is the right decision. Raptors 11, they're great. They might lose Fred VanVleet, though. Marcus Gasol is getting up there in age. Ibaka is a free agent, I believe, as well. We'll see if Kyle Lowry's getting up there in age as well. We'll see if OG Anunoby can take that step forward next year. Like I said about Luka being my MVP pick, I think OG might be my most improved player pick next year. Especially if they move Kyle Lowry, but I don't think they will. But you get what I mean, and I think 11 is fine for Toronto. They ended up losing in the semifinals. They're going to lose some key guys, so unless they hit a home run on their draft pick, but I don't know if they'll be good right away. Because it's hard for kind of those late 20 picks to be good right away. Like a Siakam. Like, it took him some time. Same with OG Anunoby as well. So, I think 11 is good. And Houston being at 12 is fine by me. Them in front of Utah, I think, you could pick them. Who you think is a better team. I think in a 7-game series this year in the playoffs, I think Houston would have beat Utah. But Utah played very well with missing Mike Conley for, I believe, the first 3 games, and then Bojan for without the whole series. They ended up blowing a 3-1 lead against Denver, so they easily could have moved on to round 2. I'm sure the Clippers would have liked that, but I think 13 is fine. We'll see if they make a big move in this offseason, because with that roster, they're probably not winning at all. So we'll see if they make a win-now move. Maybe they trade away Mike Conley and a first-round pick for Chris Paul. Because for the Thunder, they can get a first-round pick for a really bad contract, and they're also getting expiring. So it's not like they're taking on a bad contract like Al Horford in exchange for Chris Paul. So, I mean, Utah can make that splash in the offseason, but oh boy, they would be paying Bojan, Donovan Mitchell next year. Oh my God, Rudy Gobert will be a free agent. Oh man, then the Utah owner better be ready to pay the luxury tax, so I don't think that'll actually happen. Portland at 14, cool with that. Yeah, they were, what, the 14th? No, they were the... I guess 16th best team. No. They were the 14th best team this year record-wise because they were, I think, had a better record than Orlando and Brooklyn off the top of my head. So I'm cool with that. We'll see if they get better. We'll see if they make a move. They might lose Whiteside. We'll see who they draft with whatever pick they have. I think it's 16, or if they make a trade, if they try to trade up, can they land a Patrick Williams? Can they land an Aaron Nesmith? Can they sign somebody? They can create some wiggle room. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, will they bring back Melo? Voice crack there. Thunder at 15. I think they're going to be a lot lower. I think Gallinari's gone, probably. Chris Paul might be traded. And then a shooter, Steven Adams, and SGA. I think if they trade Chris Paul, they're probably going to be in the 20s. That's just my opinion. Pacers at 16. They're interesting. They're very interesting because will they trade Victor Oladipo? Will they trade Sabonis or Miles Turner? They have a huge offseason for, Chad Buchanan and Kevin Pritchard. So we'll see what decisions they decide to make. And I think 16 is fine. I think they still will be a playoff team next year. Pelicans at 17, I think that's a good range for them. Same with the Grizzlies, young teams that maybe overachieved last year, and I think they'll get better next year. Grizzlies don't have their first round pick, but they were still good regardless. They had some injuries this year, and they'll be back, I think, with Triple J, Valanciunas, Dylan Brooks, Justice Winslow, Brandon Clark. And the Pelicans, they'll have a lottery pick. We'll see if they trade away Drew Holiday, though. That could hurt them. Phoenix at 19, I think you got to lump them in with Memphis or the Pelicans. I think one of those three teams will be a playoff team next year. Or one definitely could. I don't know if all three could be, or even two of them, but I think one definitely can. Orlando at 20. I mean, honestly, there might be some teams in the Western Conference that have better records than the Magic who don't make the playoffs, and the Magic might make the playoffs. That's just how it is. I don't know if they're going to make a trade with Isaac out. They might still want to keep Gordon. Maybe they find a trade for Vucevic, but I highly doubt it. But we'll see what they do. Wizards at 21, I think they'll be a team like the Magic competing for like one of the 8 seeds in the Eastern Conference, because I think it'll be the top 6 in a different order from last year, and then Brooklyn will definitely make it, so the top 7, and then I think the 8 seed will be between the Magic, the Wizards, and probably the Bulls. I think those 3 teams. Maybe the Hawks can overachieve next year, or the Hornets. But I would say it's between the Wizards and the Magic right now to get that 8 seed, with John Wall coming back. Spurs, I think that's good. Them and the Kings should be around each other. I think the Kings might finish with a better record than the Spurs, depending if they move Aldridge or DeRozan. But actually, now maybe the Spurs will finish with a better record. But I think that's a good range for these guys. Atlanta at 24. Okay. I don't know if I would have them higher than Chicago. Minnesota, yeah, I think around 25. I don't think they're going to be particularly good next year. They might be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference, according to this. Is this the worst team in the Western Conference? It might be. We'll see. Chicago at 26, I think they should be a little bit higher. I think they should be around Sacramento and San Antonio, Washington, or Orlando in that category. They should be higher than Minnesota and Atlanta, in my opinion. Charlotte, I think you can make a case for them even being better than Atlanta, but I think, okay, Charlotte's fine at, maybe Charlotte, I don't know. Okay, maybe 27's fine, but I think Chicago should be like 24, Atlanta at 25, and then Minnesota at 26. So yeah, they do have Minnesota as the worst team in the Western Conference next year. Let's see. So we have Pistons at 28. Oh, they have the Knicks at 30. Damn. I think the Knicks will be better than the Pistons next year. I think the Pistons are going to be pretty bad. I think the Knicks will probably be like 28, and then the Cavs could be 29. I don't think the Knicks will end up as the worst team in the NBA next year. I just don't see it. I think they have I don't know. Like, they're going to be adding the 8th overall pick. They're probably going to sign somebody due to them having a lot of cap space. They'll have Joyce Randle. They'll have RJ Barrett. They'll have Mitchell Robinson. They'll have, Knox isn't really good, but you know what I'm not really helping their cause there, but I think they won't end up. Like, if I had to bet money that they would end up any position than last, I would take that odds 100%. I would not take their plus 30,000 title odds, but hey, you throw $100 down, you could win 30K, but the odds of that happening are, it's not happening. But yeah, those, I don't know. I don't think the Knicks will be 30th, but hey, maybe I'm being biased. But yeah, that is my reaction to ESPN's NBA Power Rankings. I do plan on doing a reaction to the Athletics ranking of the top 100 players in the NBA, or it's like 120 players. I don't think they finished that. I think they're doing it in 5 tiers, and they still have 2 tiers left. So when that's done, I'll react to that. But yeah, if you have anything else you want me to react to, let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy. If there was anything that was like kind of shocking to you, or thought was disrespectful, or you don't agree with, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.